It's Nate and Eric. We're talking to musicians and music-adjacent people about the worst shit show they've ever been a part of. These are the stories that you don't get to hear. This is what we call shit show.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you once again for checking it out. This is part 2 of the Snoop Dogg Mesa Theater shit show. If you haven't listened to the first episode, stop what you're doing right now, pause this episode, and go back and listen to the first one.
Otherwise, it's going to be very confusing for you.
Right. It's going to be like, what is going on right now? Anyway, before we get into it, I want to go and say thank you to everybody that has written to us, and thank you for the people that are supporting us and listening to the shit show. We are open to any and all suggestions that you have. We would love to go and interview just about anybody. What else is going on, Eric?
Oh, spring has sprung, which means more work for me to do at my day job. What else? We are starting to practice a little bit and hone our skills for this upcoming a bunch of dates we got coming up, so that's fun. And still pushing that new song, Plane Crash, that is out now. So if you have not heard it yet or just lazy and haven't gotten around to it, now is your time. This is your reminder. Check it out on Spotify, YouTube, music videos on YouTube, Apple Music, etc., etc. You can buy it on Bandcamp if you really want to be a G.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Always. I mean, that's the... I keep seeing these things on like Instagram and like TikTok that are like easiest way to support an artist. Just give them a like, do something like that.
Yes.
In this situation, just tell someone about this podcast, get some stars or some thumbs up, anything that, just let us know that you like it. I mean, we're going to do this regardless in spite of everything. We don't care.
Right.
So this is kind of cathartic for us. So it's good for us to just get this out anyway. 'Cause I don't believe anyone would really know or even believe half of the stories we tell anyway.
For sure.
I guess without further ado, is there anything else, Eric?
No.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. Like I said, this is part 2 with Rick from the Mesa Theater. Hit the music!
But yeah, so day before the show, he texted me. He's like, "Hey, I don't know if our flight's going to leave when we want it to." And now at this point, like, we've already advertised, like, okay, we have an opener. A buddy of mine, Wise, like, killer DJ dude. He's going to open it up, but we just kind of have him as a placeholder because we don't know when he's going to show. So we got the gates opening at noon. Snoop's supposed to be on at 1:30-ish because he's supposed to land at 1. And then he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if the flight's going to leave on time or not." And then, like, no on either side if it's going to be early or late. So we're like, okay, we'll just tell our opener, who the night before the show, I'm like, hey, we didn't consider this. You can't play any songs he's going to play. Right. But we don't have a set list. Like, so he's like, it's cool. I have hundreds of beats I've made before. And he literally, like, stayed up all night taking, like, acapella tracks and putting them on top of these beats he already made.
Who's
like,
this guy? Give this guy a shout out.
Wes is the man. His name's Wise. He's like an EDM dude, but like, got one of the best drummers I've ever met in my life too. Like, I was in a band with him forever. He lived in my basement.
Fucking legit,
but like,
dude.
Like, just like he's committed to his craft for sure.
Wow.
And of course he's not normally like a DJ that's like, playing, like, focusing on early 2000s like Nelly throwing down shit, but yeah, he killed it, man. He put all this together and did all of it so that he couldn't, even if he played the same track, it wouldn't be the same one. And it was genius. It was such a clever way to do it. And maybe he had 2 or 3 days, but in my mind it was all like, it's happening right now. He's doing it right now. It's like on the spot. He's sitting back up there like pretending to be Fergie. Like, I don't like, but we also were like, yeah, your set should be anywhere from like 7 minutes to like, I don't know, maybe 3.5 hours. 'Cause who knows? So like, he like overworks the whole thing. Yeah. And of course,
now I don't want to scare you, but it might be 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Or it might be 3 hours.
Yeah. The crowd could be chanting, "We want Snoop," and like throwing shit at you.
A story I almost went with was an Afro Man story where we put an opener back on stage 5 times.
What?
Because Afroman couldn't find here, which is it's a hard rock star story. But like a week later, he hit a woman on stage. So I'm like, I'm not glorifying this man.
Wow.
I'm like backing out of my like last bit of nervousness. So that day we have the cash. We had to call all of our banks in town and like accumulate that cash. It's not that we didn't have the cash. That was fine.
The bank doesn't have all
The
that.
bank doesn't
cash
have
on
that
hand,
kind of cash, especially when you're like, hey man, like I don't want anything under a 50. And they're like, okay, well here's X amount of cash. That's all we've got. We're like, okay, that is considerably less than I thought. I will take 20s. You know, like I need this amount of cash.
Yeah, we need a lot of money.
Yes, and it's like sealed in this like plastic see-through like bank bag thing, and it's like wrapped up. And we had the different Wells Fargo's in towns like accumulated it, brought to one bank, recounted it, did all this stuff. I had to go sign for it 5 times, all this sorts of stuff. And then the guy who brought us the cash was an employee of that establishment because it needs, just for whatever political reasons, it has to be brought on site by an employee of that. Like I can't just bring that kind of cash there,
right?
You know, so it has to be brought by somebody. And
I would be nervous just having that much cash on me, just holding it.
Dude, I get nervous when I have $100 bill in my pocket. I'm like, so I like all of a sudden
You're, like,
everyone knows
it,
me.
Which is crazy. I would feel like Snoop and his people would be nervous. Even though I guess he's flying private, so it's going right onto the plane. But still.
Usually, if it's over like $15K, you're wiring it, and they're like, wire it to me like next month. I don't care. You know, like it's weird how like certain amount of monies go. Like $30,000, like wire it to me. I don't know. Wait until next quarter though, because I don't want to pay taxes on it. You're like, well, all right, whatever. Like that's you.
Right. Okay.
I'll text you when I want my money. But like, yeah, this amount of money to think it was in cash, and then like the levels we had to go through to get the cash. I think we told them 4 weeks in advance in order to accumulate that cash amongst all of the banks that were Wells Fargo.
So you let them know ahead of time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hey, this is coming down the pipe.
Because like, yeah, we were nervous that we wouldn't be able to come up with that. Like we had like suddenly been like, how much money you got? Like your house, like asking everyone we know if we couldn't come up with. Like, oh, he's got $60, he's got 75. Like we're almost there.
We're almost there.
Like we're gonna give it to him in buckets of quarters. Like he's gonna get his money. And at this point, his manager texts me like, I swear the second cash is on heading to site. And he's like, you better have that cash or Snoop ain't getting out of the car. And I'm like, oh, now it's like threatening. Like kind of like, oh,
right.
Okay, like as long as you guys are here, you can have the cash. I promise. Like get on that stage and the cash is all yours. And he's like, no, I want you to meet me outside and you give me the cash. I'll count it and then we'll set up. And I'm like,
It's gonna take. Do you have a machine? Because this is gonna take a minute.
I went and got 2 machines, like to be like, because he wanted to do it like in an SUV, and I was like,
bro,
like
no.
So I hired the driver. I made sure of that. I was like, no, driver's mine. Like you ain't just getting dropped off by some guy. Like,
right.
But like this happens, and I'm like, okay, I'm nervous again. Everything's like, it all comes rushing back. I'm like, okay, well, cool. It's been like 72 hours of just like hot sweats of not sleeping and just like panicking.
Yeah,
something would go wrong.
Is this show happening? What's happening?
There's like, I have all these dumb sayings of like, oh, if everything went right, then nobody came, or you know, like, better the band, the worse the turnout. Used to be a thing I used to say all the time. I'm like, this band's incredible. Sorry, only the bartenders watched you play. You know, like
we're saying this as the doors are about to open in about 30
Yeah,
minutes at the INTHEWHALE show.
And no one's gonna be here because these guys are incredible.
Oh my God. It's true. It's true.
Yeah. I was just as nervous about like trying to explain to them that only 3 people were coming as I was about Snoop Dogg ripping me off. And you'll have to cut this down just because the amount of times I veer off or whatever. But he texts me. I see like a guy in like full blown like military garb with like an AK-47 like walking through the parking lot at this amphitheater, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? And I'm like, he gets closer, and it's one of the employees there. Like, he didn't want to go get the cash without, like, he's a Marine, and I guess he just really wanted to play cosplay that day. I don't know. Like, he, like, showed up with, like, he's got guns on his hip, and, like, I'm like, dude, what the hell? He's like, I've never carried this kind of cash. I'm like, yeah. Well, now people know you have that kind of cash. Like, you're a target to me now. Like,
the guy with the machine gun has all the money.
Yeah, the guy with the machine gun has all the money. So he brings it in. We run it through all the things multiple times. We put it in like a safe and then like seal the safe with like untamper tape and all this stuff and like make sure it's all good. It's all there. I explained to him the money's there. I think I took a picture of it. Like it's like he's sending me sketchy text messages. I might as well as be like, hey, here you go.
Do you still have that picture?
I think I do. Yeah, I think I have a picture of me trying to set the money on fire when I was panicking. Like,
dude, can I?
When we were, yeah.
Can I see that picture?
Yeah, I will show you that picture.
Can we
I
put
will
it on
show you-
here?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's put that money.
Oh,
in
I
picture.
gotta show you. Like, there's a video that like will like cap the story. It'll be like the cherry on top when you see the video. But the it's all good. Everything's good. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I'll just like let you know when we're in the air tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, how many people are coming? Like, yeah, I don't even know what you guys like. You want me to get this like gin and juice? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to listen to Snoop Dogg songs to figure out what you want here. Like, because he still hasn't given me much of a rider besides like, oh yeah, make sure. He's got plenty of water and an RCA out for his controller.
Weed probably.
Well, and we
weed,
thought
I
that
don't know.
too. And then like at this point, man,
He's
the
got his
entire
own fucking
town
weed coming.
is like just and I hate to say this on air, but my cell phone number is the Mesa Theater phone number because it's just easier for people to call me and I can answer the question. And at this point, enough people have found that out. So like everyone who owns a bakery is like, hey man, I'm gonna make you all these cookies. Let Snoop Dogg know I'm looking for partners. And you're like, what? Like people are like showing up with weed and being like, will you see if he'll take this? And I'm like, I will see if the sound guy lets it leave here and gets to Snoop Dogg. Like, yes, bring anything you want for him to have. We'll see if he takes it. We'll put it in the green room. And yeah,
it's kind of a clever way to get that green room filled up with stuff.
Oh, it was actually awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, people
'cause then
dropped off cookies and fudge. And But they all had like weird cards that were like, by the way, my aunt is trying to open up like this car dealership. Like, how would you
how it
like
always
Snoop
goes.
Dogg Motors? And you're like,
Yeah.
like I don't feel like he's running around like trying to take investment advice from like a town that's teeth count similar to like the I don't know, finger and toe count. We'll use that. I was gonna say something else entirely, but like this town, like I'm not from this town, so I can just say it has roots in like some of these people's families were related before they got married. You know what I mean? And that's like it's been.
Junction's nickname is Junktown.
Yes.
Grand Junction, they call it Junktown.
Yeah.
And we love it so much. No,
We
do
also
love
have the Rockies. Like we have the GJ Rockies, but because the Methies were taken.
it. Oh, woo!
How great would it be if you like saw like the GJ Methies were playing like
Oh, the
you know,
Methies were in
dude,
town?
Methies are
Dude, I love the Methies. Dude, bring your cousin.
Don't sleep on the Methies.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay.
we're getting to day of show.
Okay, we're getting day of show, and yeah, like I didn't sleep, so I like got on site at like 7 in the morning, and we already had the PA hung and all this stuff. Really significant, really beautiful setup. You got the everything's set in place, and we're just sitting there, and I'm like not wanting to text him, but just staring at my phone of like, okay, you gotta let me know when anybody's up, when anything's happening, and apparently they did. They had some like gala or some crazy thing they did like literally like 9 in the morning where Snoop just had to go make some appearance somewhere. And then he texted me. He's like, okay, yeah, we're going to head to the airport. I'm like, cool. And that was like 11. And we're like, cool, he's going to be early. Like, we're going to be on time. And then at 12:30, when we were supposed to open gates at 12, but I told him, let me know when the flight's in the air. That's when I'll open gates. And at 12:30, I hadn't heard from him. So we're like, I don't know, open gates? Because, like, people are getting restless. There's literally 5,000 people outside, like, trying to get inside.
Oh, my God.
And we're like, we already had the DJ start because we're like, I don't know what to do, man. I'm just like panicking. We're like, just go, team, go. Like everyone's just like, I don't know what to do. It's all gonna suck. This might be dangerous. And then he's like, oh yeah, sorry, we've been in the air for like 10 minutes, and like we're gonna land at this time, and like we have an itinerary now. We have the drivers on site to pick him up and stuff. And then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, Snoop doesn't want to walk through the airport. You have to pick him up off the tarmac, which is like something you have to get approved and like all this. And we're like, okay. So I call the driver and I'm like, I don't care what you got to do, drive on the tarmac. And he's like, done.
I've been wanting to do this forever.
Like, yeah, it's like, this is like a mission.
I've been fucking needing an excuse.
Like,
just wait.
yeah.
Wait for this goddamn excuse. Get me on that tarmac.
And I didn't mention
This is
it.
Con Air all times.
I didn't mention it before, but he said he wanted 3 SUVs, all black, blacked out windows.
Okay.
And still don't know how many people are coming. Like, I'm like, how? Like, is he bringing an entourage? Like, who do I need to feed? Like, whatever. And so we got the 3 SUVs. He's like, okay, we're gonna land at, I don't know, 110. So like, I'm just freaking out. And at this point, I 100% do not believe to the core of my soul that Snoop Dogg's coming.
You think it's some other
I
guy?
am standing in the wing of the stage with like, Wes killing it. Like he's throwing down, he's throwing his arms up and everything, but you can see 5,000 people go, that's not Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Like they knew there was going to be an opener, but they're like, all right, wrap it up. Like we're ready. Just kind of blank face staring back. Like people were having a good time and everything, but in my mind, everyone was just there like, you lied lied to us. You lied to every one of us.
Where's he at? Bring him out.
And at this point, I think I'm like hysterical of like people come up and they're all like, hey man, is he here yet? I'm like,
Fuck off.
he's never coming, buddy.
Leave me alone.
You know, like I'm just like,
He was never
I'm
going.
like, I'm Jack Nicholson, Batman. Like, I'm glad you're dead. Like freaking out in the corner. And I'm like, and my partner's there, and he's just like smiling, stoked. He's like, Snoop Dogg's gonna be here, bro. And I'm like,
Is he?
like, why don't you carry the stress I have? And I'm like, and because he's just not involved in a lot of the day-to-day stuff, so he's like here to be like, oh my god,
This is so cool. Look at all this thing you did.
yeah. And like we have this like table full of stuff of people being like, hey, there's my joints, give them to Snoop. And like the crew is just like, well, Snoop doesn't want this weed, taking all that. So sitting there, he texts, he's like, oh, there's only 4 of us, we only need 1 SUV now. And I'm like, great, would have been cool not to pay.
Yeah, cool. No,
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
This is fine.
That's fine, I don't care.
No. That doesn't cost money to get
Yeah,
SUVs.
That's fine. We just rented them. Special order, whatever. And then I'm like, wait, does he want all 3? So he's like a ball game and this, whatever. I had too much stuff going on in my mind. The driver, I'm texting him. I'm like, all right. He's like, I'm on the tarmac. The plane's landing. People are getting off. And I was like, let me know when you know it's Snoop, and I won't freak out anymore. And he's all like, so the first guy that got in, I didn't see, but everybody else is in, and they're saying it's time to go. And I'm like,
What the?
I'm like, what do you mean? Like I don't like. He's kind of an obvious looking guy. Like,
Yeah, he's fucking.
yeah.
Was the driver? Has he ever seen a picture of Snoop?
He
Apparently,
knows who Snoop is.
and yet
Yeah.
he was unable to. Does he not make eye contact?
I didn't see it.
I have this feel like I don't know if he was just as nervous as I was, or
Had
like
his
what. 'cause, like,
bodyguards that
yeah.
that just like covered him.
Well, no, it wasn't. I feel like he was just not paying attention. Whatever. Or he was trying to kill.
How
me.
do you not pay attention? It's
Bro.
you're on the tarmac.
I'm picking up Snoop Dogg. I'm paying attention. I'm not. This is.
I'm
no,
opening
this
the
ain't-
door.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing something. So he's texting me like at the stoplight. It's like he's like every time they hit a stoplight or a stop light, he's like, which made me more anxious. It's like 11 minutes from the airport to the site, and he texts me for 14 minutes, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like.
Did you
I
go backwards?
I don't even understand. He's like, I'm passing this, and I'm like, I thought you already did. Like what? Like trying to calculate every stop sign and every weird dumb turn he decides to take because he just like I don't know wants to be able to tell someone Snoop sat in that seat once. I don't know. And I'm like, seriously, can you see him? He's like, I can't. He's in the back. And I'm like, all right. So now I'm outside with all of this money because he told me he wants to meet me outside and he wants the money before anything else is going to happen. And I wear very simple clothes. I have like a $14 hoodie with this entire bag of money shoved into like all the pockets. With my AK-47 friend wearing a giant jacket in May, like with a gun on him. And I'm like, dude, I really don't want like the gun guy next to me. Like that feels like a weird bad drug deal. And then he's like, this does feel like a drug deal. And then it just like came rushing back to like buying weed when you're 12. And I'm like, oh my God, we're in a drug deal. Like it's all cash. Like I don't know the guy. He's got to pick it up from someone else. I'm like, Tom Segura warned us about this. Like this is how this is going to go. And he gets out. And like I said, at this point, I'd never seen the guy, so he jumps out of the car because they pull up. This dude just like rolls out as the car's still running, and there's like 5,000 people that can see. Yes.
He jumps out of the car.
Yeah, he jumps out of the car as soon as he gets there because we there's just a fence like that everyone's like 5-6 feet privacy fence kind of thing, but it's all chain link, so you can see right through it. So there's 5,000 people who should be paying attention to the other DJ who's wrapping up, just staring sideways at the like fence of like
knew it. That's not
the
Snoop.
mysterious 3 SUVs that are pulling in. So the whole world's paying attention to us, and he jumps out, rolls out, like runs right up on me, and I'm like, oh God. And another guy gets out, and he's like the scariest man I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, oh my God, I hope that's the white guy. Like, oh, like I would feel so much better.
His bodyguard.
Yeah. Scariest guy. Like I felt like that guy got stabbed that morning to be like, see, credibility's up. Like I'm just gonna go fight homeless people in Vegas to get stabbed once a week so I can like keep my credibility.
Holy shit.
He gets out, and I'm like trying to take the money. I'm just nervously like trying to take money out of my pocket in front of like 5,000 people. I don't know. He's like, oh, damn it, Jesus Christ. Like, chill, man. It's not that big of a deal.
Chill,
and he's
you
got
fucking chill.
He's
You're
got
the
like a
one who's, like-
knapsack, and he's like, let me go plug his laptop in. And I'm like, that laptop? And then he's like, hey, do you have Wi-Fi here? We got to download the songs he's gonna play. So then I'm like,
Oh no!
I'm like, what? Because now we have the other DJ off, and like, okay, this is all gonna happen. And now all my anxiety is rushing back, and I'm like, just twitching behind him on the stage while he's
Do
like
it on the
plugging
plane,
his.
motherfucker!
And he's like, oh, his laptop's not charged that well. And I'm like, oh, like just like ripping people's laptops out, like trying to find like a cord that fits it. And he's like, "Oh, I have one. It's no big deal." And he's like, just super casual after being kind of cold, like callous towards me that day. I'm like, he's like, "Oh no, it's all good, man. I trust you. It's all cool." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Yeah." And he has like a jump drive and another computer, and he's like downloading songs. He's literally turning to us, and he's like, "What's that song called? Where it's like we're all friends, and like we should all be friends." And I was like, "That's not how it." I don't know what you're talking about. That's like every song. Like I don't know, like
repertoire,
download
bro.
Paramore.
Wait,
I don't know
is
what the fuck you're talking
Is
about.
this Snoop Dogg saying this?
This is Snoop Dogg's dude. Snoop Dogg is
Oh.
still mysteriously in this.
You haven't seen him yet.
Snoop Dogg doesn't exist still, and I'm still in this hysterical state of he does not exist in real life. Like at this point, I'm all like,
Well, yeah. If he gets out of the car, he's gonna get mobbed. Everyone's gonna go,
it's gonna be
he's gotta
it's gonna be a
stand
problem
until the very last second when he goes right up onto the stage.
And I
'Cause
keep
he'll get
asking people,
fucking-
like,
yeah.
are you looking in the windows? Like, can you see him? And they're like, dude, nobody set eyes on him. We all have, like, walkie-talkies on and all this stuff. And I'm like, hey, so, like, is he here? Does he want to come to the green room, like, use the restroom or get some food? Like, because I just want to see him. I want to make sure he exists.
Yeah, it's like Daryl Puppy or something. Daryl Dog or something. Like, it's not even. It's just like, yeah, send my little cousin to do shit.
It's Snoop Dogg with one G.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Whoops.
Oh, we came up with all sorts of different stuff like that.
Snoop Cat.
Yeah. We were actually hoping it would have been cool if it was, like, someone else entirely. Like, it was, like, Dave Chappelle, like, and then, like, because
That would be cool.
we would have all been stoked, especially if he did a DJ set and told no jokes. Like, I would have laughed my ass off. Like, it would have been the greatest thing. But yeah, because in our hysterical state, we came up with 1,000 things that could have happened that wasn't going to be Snoop Dogg coming in. So the guy's like downloading these songs, and he's asking us, like, "Oh, you know, what's a good Willie Nelson song?" And I'm like, "What do you need to know about Willie Nelson? This is a hip hop. Like, what's a I don't know, man. Like, download some Pac. Like, I don't know what to tell you." And he's like, "Oh, this will be fine. He'll figure it out." And like,
He'll figure it out.
and I'm like, "Okay, well, here's the money." And he's like, "Okay, cool." And he like counts, I'd say about a third, shoves it in his pocket. And he's like, "All right, I'll be back." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, you're just going to leave this money here?" And he's all like, "Oh, yeah, man, I'll trust you. It seems to be here." And I'm like, "Okay, you didn't trust me this whole time? All right, cool. Can we, like, lock the door and you watch me lock the door? Like, because I don't want to be left alone with this money now. Because now I'm like, now you're going to come back and tell me that you don't trust me. Like, just all that's in my head.
Right.
Yeah, and I still haven't seen Snoop Dogg. And, like,
Oh my god.
so he's like, "You know what? I'll just count the money." He's like, "You know what? I'll just take the money." And then I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because now he's going back to the SUV.
With the money.
With the money. And I'm like, this ain't how this is going to work. So then I lock the door, and I'm like, "No, it's fine. We'll come back." He goes out, puts his head in the SUV, and, like, kind of, like, argues with someone for a second. He's like, "Oh, no, it's go time, go." And Snoop Dogg gets out, and, like,
Oh, it is Snoop.
the entire, like, our entire staff, everyone with a walkie-talkie is just, like, standing there. Like food trucks have stopped. Like, nothing has happened after these SUVs pulled up. Like, it's just kind of gone silent. Like, there's background music and stuff on, but, like, everybody there didn't think he was coming, like, in my mind. And he gets out, and it's Snoop Dogg, and he's just, like, just fist bumps every single person that's outside. He's, "Hey, man, I'm Snoop." It's like the sweetest, like I'm like 10 feet away, just like in a panic that it's actually him. And he like jogged towards me and like gave me a knuckles. And I'm like, the guy's fucking cool. Like, that a cool motherfucker right there, man.
Did all of your stress just like, did he shit your pants at this point?
Oh, dude, and now I'm like, now he's going to go out there and do like the worst set of all time. And then I'm still going to have to deal with it. But like, it happened. So like, there was like, stress was 100% gone. And I'm like, as long as he gets on stage and people are like, "Oh, that might be Snoop," like, then we were good, and it did. It like totally rushed out of me. Like, everything ended up being totally awesome. I have video of like, first thing he did, because he was only gonna rap a little bit or whatever, and then he's just like, puts a Willie Nelson song and he's just like spitting a verse over it. You're like, what is happening? Like, but he did. He killed it. Like, I think people didn't expect him to be like a good DJ, especially with like a setup that was like, he's like looking through LimeWire with like half downloaded songs. Like,
LimeWire.
I'm like, I don't know what he's doing. Like, and it didn't seem like he did. And like, he's like, security sat on stage right behind him, and like me and Wes, me and Rob, sound guy here at Dreads, we're like the only people on stage, like standing here, like, there's 5,000 people freaking out, like from the ages of like 6 to 75. They're like, "Dude, Snoop actually showed up," and I'm like still sweating. Like, my partner walks out and stands next to me. He's like, "Oh, what are you fucking freaking out about?" Like,
Because you weren't doing anything.
like he's like, "It's all good. It's all good." I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's fine. It's all fine."
It's fine.
Like, but yeah, he did his set, got off, got in the van, drove right off, flew off. The first thing he said, actually, he walks out, he's like, "Fuck the Grammys," and then like got started. And he's like, I've had 17 nominations, 0 wins. Fuck the Grammys. I'm here to party with Grand Junction or something. And I'm like, now I'm totally relieved. I have already chain smoked a pack that day. I go outside, and this bit of information would have changed my life. Someone showing me Instagram, and Snoop did a whole travel from Vegas. Hey, I'm heading to Grand Junction to do a DJ set. And like live streamed his drive and like live streamed me standing outside fidgeting with money. Like and I'm like, oh wow, that would have like not made me want to kill myself all day because
You would have known. You would have had like a guy in the field knowing exactly.
I mentioned this to you because my only solution was like, if Snoop Dogg does not get out of this, I will have to walk on stage and kill myself. Well, I was like, this is it. It's the only way out. It was like,
that's the only thing.
That's the only thing.
5,000 people. They need a blood sacrifice. That's the only thing that will be redeemable.
Yes, and I know you got to cut this thing down because I meant for it to be a 7-minute like conversation.
We're at 47.
All right, yeah. Like it didn't mean to be that long.
No, this is a good story.
Yeah,
like
that's good.
Like if I recapped, I'd be like, yeah, I booked Snoop Dogg this one time. It was like totally awesome. He gave me like finger knuckles, and we got to keep all the gin and juice that we bought for him because he didn't want anything.
Did he even go in the green room?
Bottle of water. He took a bottle of water off the side of the stage, and then like he took a picture with like kind of the crowd as he was walking off because he was like super like nice, and he was of course exactly on time. Like everything that we thought that wasn't going to work out did. But those weren't even in my mind, like that it was going to be a problem. I like knew he was going to be late. I knew this was going to happen, and that his equipment wouldn't work. Like I had backup equipment and different stuff. We didn't need any of it because he was just like a pro. He just like went out there, crushed it, and then like got out of there. And I was like, huh. Because that's the normal stuff that goes wrong with the show. Local band plays over their time, and like then you're like cutting someone else's set and trying not to piss off the tour package, you know?
Right.
And like trying to treat everybody with some sort of decency, but hip-hop shows usually you aren't treated with any decency, so you're like, okay guys, like we're just the venue, I'm glad you taking my money, you know. And like he was a total pro, and everything was amazing. And yeah, I will give you some pictures and the video of like he comes out to like it's a Dre song, but I don't know what it is immediately, but just seeing the crowd lose it, and like I swear if you probably just put it to your ear, you'd probably hear me like hyperventilating, like it's over. It's all over. It's finally here, and it has happened.
Wow. Dude, what a fucking great story.
And we sold about 900 of those T-shirts. I am sending you guys with those T-shirts, and yeah, we gave him his money. But yeah, just all of it leading up to it was just not a normal experience.
Dude, this is perfect. This is perfect.
I was going to tell you a story about Foghat so I didn't have to bring up all that stress, and then now I'm like, dude, that Foghat story is stressing me out now, too.
Let's save the Foghat story for
next time.
Next podcast.
Next time.
Hell yeah.
Dude, or what's your socials so people can follow you and support the Mesa and all that?
It's 5-2. My personal is at Televangelist on Instagram, or you can follow anything.
Televangelist?
Yeah, like Televangelist, except like I'm gonna betray your shit. That's my old Halo name.
If you're
fuck your shit up and SWAT.
If you're in Grand Junction, definitely check out the Mesa Theater. It's a great club, great venue, great sound. It's awesome. Definitely check it out.
We have the best slogans. Our Pride slogan was "Happy Pride Month, suck a dick," which we found out heterosexual people had problems with.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Gays were cool with it.
Huh.
No, yeah, definitely check out anything that's Mesa Theater, R&B, sound reinforcement. We're backline company. We book shows. We have fun, and we say curse words. We also have a whole line of like parody merch, which is awesome. We just had a Wiener Schnitzel one come out, but like we got the no fuck shirts getting out there pretty good.
I love your
that
Lego
Starbucks
Mesa hat.
Lego Mesa. I'm trying to get some cease and desists, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get one from Snoop being like, "Don't ever tell anyone I was in Grand Junction, you piece of shit." And I'm gonna be like, "It wasn't me, man. It was Nate and Eric.
Yeah, it was Nate and Eric.
Nate and Eric made me do it, man."
Yeah, tell them it was us. Maybe we'll get some press out of it.
I hope what comes out of this is like Snoop Dogg's people contact me and they're like, Snoop Dogg has never been in Grand Junction, and there's just that guy.
They gaslight you.
Yeah, and like they really was like the whole time another guy, and like now I'm getting sued from some other one for telling some story, and they have like video footage of him like listening to the thing like that shit never happened. You know, like
I was never there.
I was never there. Book Grand Junction. No.
That's awesome. No, support Mesa, support Rick, support this podcast, and
yeah,
thank you.
That's it. Yeah, fucking shit show.
Drop it.
Rick, that was the story. It's a great story. I kind of wish that it wasn't Snoop Dogg, to be honest.
Yeah, if it was just like some random white guy or just some other dude that's just like, that's not Snoop. And Grand Junction would have like required a blood sacrifice for sure. Like someone has to die for sure.
Absolutely. And also carrying around that much cash is just crazy. And I would feel the same way. The same way as Rick. I would feel totally freaked out, nervous. I'd want to just like handcuff the damn thing to my hand.
Yeah,
my wrist.
Exactly. Well, thanks again, guys. We'll be doing this every other week, so stay tuned for the next one. Until then, we got some shows coming up.
All right, real quick. April 1st, Greeley, Colorado at the Moxie Theater. That's the 10-year anniversary of the Moxie Theater. We're very excited for that one. April 6th, Rapid City, South Dakota at AB's. April 7th, Billings, Montana at the Pub Station. April 8th, Casper, Wyoming at Oil City Beer Company. April 9th, Laramie, Wyoming at the Roughed Up Duck. April 13th, Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Vultures.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that show.
Me too. We haven't been to the Springs in a minute, so it's going to be great, I think.
Yeah.
April 14th, Albuquerque, New Mexico at Launchpad. April 16th, Tempe, Arizona at Yucca Tap Room. New one, April 28th, Trinidad, Colorado at the Dad Lounge. That's a fairly new venue. We're excited to play there.
Stoked.
May 5th, Mesa Theater, Grand Junction, the place that Rick books.
That's right.
And May 7th, the big one at HQ in Denver, Colorado. You can get your tickets online for all of those now.
Thank you guys again. We really appreciate it. Please tell somebody.